Welcome to the English Granary. Close your eyes and listen. Imagine a willow tree that keeps every secret it hears. Beneath its green curtain, two children share a blue umbrella and a promise no storm can break. Tonight, in simple English, we follow their hearts across the years and all the way back home. Drift with us into the sweetest memories of first love and let every word carry you toward calm. The willow at the edge of Crescent Lake had a way of holding voices. On quiet nights, the wind combed through its branches like fingers across harp strings, collecting laughter, secrets, and sighs, braiding them into a melody only the moon could fully hear. People in the town said the tree was older than the oldest photograph, older even than the lake that reflected its wandering limbs. To 12-year-old Maya, the willow felt like a cathedral of green light, a place where a timid heart could rest unseen and unjudged. Summer had just begun its slow blue stretch when a storm rolled over the hills, and that first crack of thunder shoved Maya toward the lake shore in a sprinting panic. She reached the willow breathless, slipped between its curtain of leaves, and pressed her back to the rough trunk. Outside, rain hammered docks, rooftops, and unruly gardens. Inside the green chamber, every drop sounded like a distant drum, softened and safe. It was here, heart rattling like a caged bird, that her story began. First storm. On the first morning of summer break, thunder cracked the sky open a second time. Maya had been sent for bread and milk, coins jingling in her pocket. But midway home, the heavens erupted. The paper bag dissolved in her arms, slices of rye scattering like frightened birds. Instinct shoved her toward the lake, toward the willow that had starred in every drawing she'd ever sketched along the margins of homework sheets. She slipped under the drooping branches precisely as the rain became a wall. Water pooled over her sneakers, chilling her toes, yet she hugged her knees and listened to the drum of droplets on leaves. She tried reciting constellations to stay calm, Orion, Cassiopeia, Cygnus, but lightning splintered the lake's surface, erasing all memory of stars. A loud splash startled her. Someone else had dashed through the curtain. A boy her age, face spattered with rain, tilted a blue umbrella to cover them both. "You okay?" he asked, cheeks flushed from the run. His name was Eli. She recognized him from school assemblies, the quiet one who always had a graphite smudge on his wrist from sketching dragons during math periods. "I'm fine," Maya lied, though her voice wobbled. She dreaded storms. They reminded her of door slams and arguments at home. Eli crouched beside her and tilted the umbrella until it formed a tiny blue roof above their heads. They sat shoulder to shoulder, sharing warm, peppermint-scented breath. To distract her, he pointed at the lightning. "Did you know each bolt heats the air 5 times hotter than the sun? That's why thunder booms air expanding fast." He didn't know Maya thrived on facts. His words fit into the empty spaces where fear used to be. When the storm eased, they emerged blinking into watery sunlight. Maya helped him rescue soggy bread slices, laughing at their squishy state. Eli thrust the umbrella into her hands. "Borrow it. You can pay me back tomorrow. Same time, same tree." A secret summer tomorrow stretched into a tapestry of tomorrows. Each sunrise found Eli already waiting on the dock, raincoat shed in favor of a faded pirate t-shirt. Maya arrived carrying notebooks she pretended were for summer math prep, but secretly filled with sketches and stories. The willow became their headquarters. Crescent Lake, their uncharted ocean. They set themselves grand quests: rescue a stranded firefly prince, map hidden tunnels under the pier, discover whether fish enjoyed breadcrumbs seasoned with cinnamon. They invented a language of taps on railing boards. One tap warned of imaginary sea monsters. 2 taps meant bring chocolate. 3 taps meant everything is perfect. Locals sometimes spotted them performing these coded knockings and shook their heads fondly at childhood's mysteries. Once, a meteor shower dusted the night sky with silver embers. Eli convinced Maya to sneak out. They lay on the floating platform, toes dangling in cool water, counting streaks. Eli whispered wishes, becoming an architect, visiting real castles, owning a dog. Maya whispered back writing books, seeing the northern lights, leaving storms behind. Falling stars illuminated their breath, and the lake kept their confessions safe. Another afternoon, they tried to build a raft out of fallen branches and rusty nails scavenged from Eli's shed. The raft promptly sank, but not before drifting 30 heroic centimeters. They christened it Titanic Jr. and declared the maiden voyage a triumph because nobody drowned. Maya recorded the event in her notebook with elaborate diagrams and exaggerated casualties: 3 gummy bears and a twig mast. At sunset, fireflies emerged. The children chased their glow, capturing them gently in cupped palms long enough to whisper wishes, then releasing them like tiny lanterns. Eli's hands glowed green. Maya said he looked like a magician. He drew her that way later, cloak swirling, willow leaves turning into birds. She kept the drawing with the peppermint wrapper in a tin that once held her grandmother's sewing kit. By mid-August, they were brave enough to swim to the lake's center every day. Maya practiced holding her breath under the platform, hair billowing like ink. Eli timed her with a pocket watch inherited from his grandfather. Their record was 52 heartbeats, though Maya swore she heard singing under the water, a mermaid choir rehearsing lullabies. The heart carved on the pier aged quickly, sap darkening the groove, but the initials inside M+E stayed bright, as if lit from within. They traced it every evening with reverent fingers, promising the promise would last even if the wood did not. The unraveling year. On the last Sunday of vacation, while cicadas screamed their electric song, Maya's father leaned against the kitchen doorway and announced his promotion. They would leave Crescent Lake for Iron Bridge City, known for steel chimneys, gridlocked avenues, and clouds perpetually tinted bronze. The move was in 5 days. Celebration tasted like cold metal on Maya's tongue. That evening, she met Eli under the willow. He sat cross-legged, sharpening a stubby pencil. When she told him, the pencil snapped in 2. For a long moment, neither spoke. The lake mirrored their silence. "We can write," he said finally. His voice cracked on the word can, but he steadied it on right. They swapped addresses on the back of the treasure map, their handwriting uneven in the dusky light. Eli fetched 2 fresh strands of willow bark. He showed Maya how to braid them smoothly, weaving 3 strips into 1 cord, fingers brushing, breath sinking. They tied the bracelets around each other's wrists. "Mail travels faster than tears," Maya said, quoting something she'd read. Eli nodded, though his eyes glistened. Departure morning arrived with a fog so thick the lake vanished. Maya pressed her forehead to the car's rear window, searching for the willow's silhouette. She couldn't see it, so she imagined it. A sentinel of green, guarding the pier like a friend waving through mist. The bracelet felt warm against her pulse. Letters began brightly. Maya wrote of skyscrapers, subway escalators that hummed like giant insects, a library that smelled of espresso and rain. Eli described his mother's new recipe for lemon lavender scones, the slow renovation of the bakery, and how the lake froze solid that winter, turning the willow into an ice chandelier. Season after season, handwriting shrank as sentences grew hurried. Homework, part-time jobs, and Wi-Fi replaced stationery. Maya's phone pinged every night with new group chats, Eli's filled with supplier invoices. When Maya's number changed after a phone theft on a bus, she forgot to send the update. She intended to write a proper letter, but exams loomed, and intention melted into tomorrow, then next week, then never. Eli sent 3 more letters. The last began, "It's okay if you're busy. Just tap something 1 knock, 2, 3. He waited, checking the mail every morning before dawn bakery prep. Finally, he folded the unsent 4th letter into a paper boat and nudged it onto the dark spring water. It drifted until fog swallowed both paper and hope. Diverging orbits. 5 summers slipped by like skipped stones, each bounce shorter, each interval wider. Maya embraced academia, chasing knowledge with the hunger that filled the hollow made by distance. Dormitories smelled of detergent and midnight coffee. She learned to catalog centuries-old manuscripts, whispering their titles the way she once whispered wishes to fireflies. Sometimes she dreamed of the willow, waking with tear-damp cheeks and a phantom rustle in her ears. She tried dating classmates, a philosophy major who quoted Nietzsche at breakfast, a photography student who saw the world in stark frames. None understood why rainy nights made her smile and flinch at once. After breakups, she visited the campus pond, skipping stones that sank after a single bounce, muttering, "One is better than none." Eli's world revolved around flour, yeast, and the patience of dough. Sunrise had flavors: pale blue quiet, pink anticipation, golden resolve. At 20, he won a county contest with his cinnamon twist recipe braids glazed like morning light. A journalist asked about his inspiration. Eli answered, "A storm shelter and summer laughter," words the reporter misprinted as "strong sugar and simmer batter." He framed the typo and hung it in the bakery. Yet success did not steel him against unsaid things. Every year, on the last Sunday of August, he walked to the willow, sat on the pier, and read the 3 returned letters, their paper soft at the folds. He whispered new stories into the lake and imagined them hitching tides across miles until they reached Maya's apartment tap and brushed her fingertips. One winter night, Eli dreamed of the willow bench, only there was a second braid on his wrist, fresh, unfrayed. He woke with tears and dough on his cheeks, dough he had kneaded through sleep like restless prayer. During her 2nd year abroad, Maya volunteered in the antiquities wing, dusting globes whose oceans still warned, "Here be dragons." She loved spinning them, feeling continents glide under her fingertips. Late nights among stacks, she traded proverbs with an elderly security guard from Ghana. His saying about rivers forgetting their source left her restless, staring at her bracelet until sunrise lectures. Meanwhile, Eli joined a televised baking contest 3 towns away. Cameras whirred as contestants coaxed meringue into glossy peaks. In the final round, he crafted a sugar willow, branches of spun caramel, and at its base, a chocolate dock engraved with M+E. Judges admired the artistry but deducted points for sentimentality. He placed second yet drove home smiling, car filled with the scent of burnt sugar, believing some creations were meant for only 2 sets of eyes. He saved a shard of caramel for Maya's return. Homecoming Fair. The year Maya turned 22, her lungs began to taste of fluorescent lights and recycled air. She opened a blank email and typed, "Go home." The next morning, she packed her tin box and boarded a night bus. Dawn painted the lake lilac. The willow's branches, thicker now, still swayed like long hair in a breeze. Maya pressed her palm to the trunk. The wood felt warmer than city concrete. A banner announced the Centennial Summer Fair. Stalls offered roasted corn, soap, and paintings of the lake, but the smell rich, sweet, braided with cinnamon overrode everything. It led her to a striped tent where a young man arranged loaves. His hair was longer, shoulders broader, but the graphite shadow on his wrist remained. She joined the line, heartbeat skittering. Suddenly, the town noise blurred to the tick of his tongs on the tray. Their eyes met. Time rewound to a peppermint beneath an umbrella. They stepped behind the tent, hidden among flour sacks. Apologies tumbled, followed by laughter and tears. A volunteer stumbled on them, saw 2 grown people giggling and crying amid grain, and tiptoed away, blushing at this obvious mystery. Thunder rumbled beyond the hills as if summoned by memory. Maya and Eli exchanged a look containing 5 years of questions and 1 answer. Run. Under the willow again. They sprinted the path as rain began. The willow's leaves closed around them like a preserved photograph. They talked over each other. Small updates first, braver words next. The missing phone number, the unanswered letters, the fear of being forgotten. "I came back every August," Eli confessed. "I even brought cake one year. Ate it all because you weren't there." Maya opened the tin, the drawing, the wrapper, the marble, the bracelet. "I'm sorry. I thought holding memories was the same as holding you." Eli traced the bracelet fibers. "Let's make new memories." He darkened their carved heart with a pencil and wrote the date beneath. Maya tied the old bracelet to his new one, forming a double helix. 2 letters each week, she promised. Eli offered a silver key. Coffee at 6, back door, every time. Rain softened. Fair music drifted across the water. They stepped onto the pier and swayed to its faint waltz, shoes squeaking, laughter floating upward. Morning unfurled in slow gold. Together they bolted a small bench to the roots, carving. Some promises sail farther than storms. The bench became legendary. Joggers rested, children hid notes, tourists photographed the inscription. In the bakery, a chalkboard titled "Today's Story" displayed a daily line from Maya's letters. Customers lingered, reading aloud over coffee. During the Willow Festival, they guided children in a paper boat race. One emerald vessel named Titanic Junior 2 reached the far shore. Its captain asked how to make wishes stick. Maya bent and whispered instructions about fireflies, pens, and patience. That night, festival lanterns bobbed over water. The willow hummed with layers of collected sound. Children's squeals, polkas, the creak of the bench under elderly dancers, and 2 familiar heartbeats tapping an ancient code. 1 knock danger, 2 chocolate, 3 everything is perfect. The moon listened, the lake mirrored, and the story, no longer trapped in a tin, kept growing, leafing out into future nights when strangers would shelter beneath green veils and feel, without knowing why, that promises could survive any distance if carried on pages, on bread, on the breath of willow leaves. Thank you for sharing this quiet night beneath our willow. Tell us in the comments, what promise would you carve in the wood forever? And if this story warmed your heart, tap subscribe so you never miss another calming tale from the English Granary. Until next time, keep shining, dream bravely, and keep learning.